Are you ready to feel inspired by hearing other people's stories of how they got from point A to point B? What helped them? What challenged them? What did they learn? What might they know that you haven't yet explored? No matter where you are today on your life journey, there is always hope, and you will always be amazing. My name is Kim O'Neill, and this show will inspire you to keep going. You and your life are worth it.
You're listening to the Everyday is a New Day show. Inspirational conversations with movers and shakers about moving forward and choosing to embrace a positive outlook. Because that which breaks us becomes a catalyst for what makes us. Now, here's your host, Kim O'Neill.
I am super excited to share with you today's guest. Today's guest is Tina V. Welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim. It's so good hanging out with you tonight. I'm so excited. No, I'm seriously honored. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I am so grateful that here we have this second opportunity to do this together.
Yes, it is, right?
Yes, we had done this a few weeks ago, and that was, for anyone watching who remembers, there was this one like radical day where
crazy, right?
Yes, nothing on Facebook was working, but we had like a split moment where we were actually able to connect and start and continue this entire interview, only to come to find out none of it really recorded. And so
but it was good though. It was good. It was good for me. It was good. It was good.
It was so good. It was phenomenal, actually, Tina. So I'm really excited that we both, decided we were able to reconnect again tonight. And
yes.
And do it again.
We're in this to win it.
We are in this to win it for sure.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and read to our audience your bio.
Okay.
And just to give them a taste of your background, you have such a rich, deep background. And then, of course, we'll get into the rest. So for those who are just meeting Tina V for the very first time, Tina V is the founder of Warrior Woman, personal growth and development for women. She is a certified master trainer for at-risk youth and young adult instructors. And for over 23 years, she has been a licensed ordained minister working as a youth leader, business teacher, and instructor in schools, churches, and communities for over 25 years. Tina V is the proud mother of 8 children, 6 of whom are living today. Having struggled with losing 2 children and all that life can bring due to domestic violence, divorce, and at one point having no self-worth and almost losing all hope, she learned firsthand that life conditions can sometimes be misunderstood, misleading, and misconceived. Today, she leads a happy, healthy, and productive life, and her mission is to lead individuals down a more clear path to their own health and wholeness. Her love and compassion for people, along with her singing career, has taken her to places such as Africa, Italy, England, and all throughout the United States of America. And that is just a nutshell of who this wonderful woman is today. So, Tina,
wow.
I'm amazed that you packed all that into your life. You're still super young. It's like, oh my gosh, what's next?
You're too sweet. You're too sweet. You're so sweet. Not too sweet. You're so sweet.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you know what? There's actually one part of your bio that I would love for you to expand on. And I heard you saying yes. So I'm like, okay, good. We're going to go there. So I love the part where you talk about at one point having no self-worth and almost losing all hope, that you learned firsthand that life conditions can be misunderstood, misleading, and misconceived. Will you share with us what you mean by that?
Well, with what I had gone through in my life, losing my true identity, I began to be someone else, and I began to lose everything that I felt that was about me, and began to become this other person, and coming from, domestic violence, and, you get to a place where you try to be perfect, or this thing of perfection, just, you want to do everything right. And before you know it, you're going through life and you're doing this great pretend thing, and you're getting away with it. So
Ooh.
so you think, and you find out, it, and it's legit. It's not like you're trying. You just, wow, I'm here in this place, and I can't live here, and I can't die here. I have to get out. And then you go searching for that thing or those things that would cause you to be at that place to where is, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for this person over here. I'm doing it for for my husband. I'm doing it for my kids. And I had no worth. I felt like I was here for just everybody else, and
Wow.
nothing for myself. And you go through life, even at a early on in my life. I felt a lot of rejection. I felt a lot of hurt and pain and abandonment. That I've worked through. But it was all there, setting the stage for destruction for me, seemingly. But thank God, for it was the grace of God that said, no, this is not the direction. And so I had to come full circle, and I had to stop. And a little bit, I was a little bit forced to stop, because things like that, it causes crazy things to happen in your life. We attract certain things in our lives, not that we want to do it, but
Right.
if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not eating right, you're not sleeping, you set yourself up for failure and things. So those are,
Wow. You know what? You answered that so well. And I know I just kind of like went right in. So thank you for being willing to go there.
absolutely, absolutely.
So you said something that I really love about your identity. And so I'm curious, who did you know what your identity was prior to finding yourself in this relationship where there was domestic violence? Do you feel like you had a handle on who your identity was before then?
I really thought I did. That's the tricky thing with going into this thing and growing out of it. I really thought I did. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom, Kim, I promise you, that said, oh my God, who is this person? And where have you been? But yeah, I really truthfully thought that what I was doing, this person, and when I say what I was doing in this person is I was giving everything that I had to somebody else or to something else. And, I love doing it. I really did, because, I love people, and I love doing what I was doing. But, the saying, you got to put the mask on yourself and before you put it on someone else. And that's what I just didn't do. My intentions were great, but I was going down with the airplane, and I couldn't breathe. But you got all this over here that was breathing, and it almost took me out. It almost took me out.
Wow. So I want to ask one other question. You talked about finding yourself becoming this perfectionistic person. Do you recall identifying with being a perfectionist prior to being in that relationship where there was domestic violence?
Oh no, I don't. I really don't. I just was this free person. I love to sing. I love people. I'm ADHD. I don't mind sharing those type. So I'm just kind of, I can be kind of out there, but so, you know, no, it's
Lady, you are
amazing.
fun. You are fun is what you are.
Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. And I just love living my truth. If that's not, too far out there, because there was a point in time I wasn't able to take ownership over that, but learning to take, my flaws or whatever, my weaknesses or whatever, and have them turned around and to be able to use them, they're not flaws to me anymore. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
that, they're, I'm able to embrace them. I don't battle with them. And that's some of the stuff that I learned when, in California about myself,
Right.
is that, quit. Why? Quit fighting. What are you fighting for? Just kind of embrace it and kind of go with it, you know.
So, for all those watching, Tina V and I met a few months ago now here in California, and
Wow. A few months ago.
I know, right? And while we're touching on these really deep, these deep, like soul searching types of situations and questions and growth moments, I do just want to reiterate again, this lady is fun and amazing. So we'll get to that part too.
Yeah,
But
I love to have fun. I'm so serious. I embrace my manic side, I embrace her,
you know what? Well, and I just have to say that because sometimes we can perceive people as one-sided and then start to fall into the space of thinking that we are supposed to be just
Right.
one-sided, and
Right.
and there may be something wrong with that other side.
Yeah.
And I can relate to what you've already shared. We're multidimensional people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and there's everything right with that. Like that
Yeah.
that's what actually makes sense. And that's what's
Yeah.
normal, if you want to call it normal.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I love that we're able to share both sides of that coin.
Absolutely. I love it.
But okay, so let's go back a little bit. So then I love that you share that you went through this challenging time in your life of the domestic violence and losing a couple of your children. And of course, I'll leave that up to you to what degree you may want to share any of that. But will you share with us, you talked about hitting rock bottom and really kind of getting to that place where there's, no other place to go but up. Was there a pivotal turning moment when all of a sudden it was like, that was when you decided you needed to shift gears?
Oh my gosh. There were a couple of different moments that just started going on and on and on and on and on. I lost my mom kind of suddenly while she was in the hospital. I was separating, from 20 years of marriage, and then 11 months after that, my dad passes. And it was just a whole host of things. My son comes out of the closet. It was just a lot of different things leading up to, other things like a pretty severe car accident like 3 years ago. And, and just hitting rock bottom. I can remember I was hosting a really big event in the city of Manassas, and it was called the Love Fest, and I had put everything in it, and to the point to where I had never gotten to this place before ever. I do events all the time. I'm all over, and but it was coming to the end of it, and I can remember looking at my son and saying, I can't sing this last song. I can't. And he looked at me, and I actually saw myself, because everything that I coached them about, you can't give up, it started hitting me. It started to come back home. But he said, you've got to do it. I don't know what you're going to do, but you got to dig. And at that point, I had nothing, Kim. I had nothing to give. But I got up there, and all I did was sing. All I did was sing. And I knew something was going on, because even leading up to that, even every time I was trying to sing a song at other events, I couldn't hold on to the lyrics in my head. It was just a lot of crazy things that was happening. And then I got off of that stage, and like 4 months prior to that, I was in that bad car accident and still trying to do it all. And then I went home, hit the sofa. 3 years later, I'm getting up off the sofa. I crashed. My body said, "There's nothing. I have nothing. I have nothing." And so I had to take myself out of it, and for close to 3 years. Close to 3 years.
When you say take yourself out of it, do you mean take yourself out of that energy, or do you mean take yourself out of the relationship, or is that all of it?
All of it, every bit of it, out of this whole life of pretense. It's like I'm done. I had my hands to a lot of different things, but looking back, I was covering up some things, just trying to not face the death of my mom, the fact that I was just going through a lot of different issues. So I jumped into work and taking care of other things and other people. No self-care whatsoever.
Tina, I just want you to know I hear so much strength as you share. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I so mean that. So what would you say kept you in that relationship for as long as you were in it?
That's a good question. What kept me in it was probably two different things. One, well, maybe three. One, I'm not a quitter. I feel like I have to complete some things. Two, I felt invested. And the third one was I really thought that was it, that this was my lot. I had to be conformed to this life. So I stayed.
And we've got a heart from our live viewer, Anne. So thank you for being with us, Anne. Sending your love.
And
Tina, what comes up for you most when you think of sharing this journey and this message, this trying time in your life with audiences? What is it most that you feel called to share to inspire them or maybe encourage them to make shifts?
probably the thing or the path that came out of it, because out of all of this or that, warrior woman was birthed. So, learning and knowing that there's a part of me that's this awesome fighter because of who lives on the inside of me is absolutely giving me everything that I need for the next step. But to be able to see it from awakening the warrior, but I can still embrace the queen, this beautiful person that is just an amazing woman who takes care of everybody in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But
I
to
do.
be able to perceive and to help with the whole PMS, perspective, mindset, and stability. And that's what I lacked. I did for whatever reason, and I'm not blaming anybody. My mom experienced domestic violence, and even for me to talk about it right now, I know that there's people that they might not know, they might not agree with it or whatever, but it's that this is my truth, and this is what I believe is going to help other people and other women. You truly don't have to stay in it. And I'm finding out that the blessings of the Lord are upon me, and that changed my whole walk. I don't have to anymore.
There's so much value in you sharing your message. So thank you for being able to, thank you for using your voice. I'm probably going to keep saying that because I
appreciate it. I really do.
Although it's not part of my story, I can identify with elements of what you're saying, and I understand the level of strength and courage it takes to really be able to share what other people may not agree with or understand, and also see the other coin of that, and knowing how much, how much relief and strength you sharing your story provides those who are hearing it and are ready to hear it. Okay, so you talk about getting to the space of knowing that you are this warrior woman, but I'm wondering, was there a moment when between, thinking that you have to stay in this relationship and the moment when you finally do embrace, no, I'm this warrior woman, was there a space in between where you couldn't see that warrior woman and yet it's time to leave? What did you do to bridge that gap to get to that?
Oh yeah, that's when I probably it was like this scary, I just didn't feel complete. I did not feel complete. And honestly, that's probably right around the time that I had to do some serious work on the inside of me, because my little girl saw a lot of different things. And so it was a lot of things that would kept coming up. And Kim, I kept having these crazy, like rageful feelings and just emotions that I could not explain. And I'm like, I don't want to take this into this next place or this next moment. And I love football, so I used to liken it unto football, where I was in the first half of the game, and it was great. Don't get me wrong. I have 6 beautiful kids. A successful business at one time, and all of that. But I had a halftime there where I was down a couple of touchdowns by the time we went into it. But now I feel like, halftime is over. And so I'm on the second side, on the second half of the game now. And so, yeah, there was that halftime, that moment where I needed to do some serious, hard work on the inside of me. And it first started with recognizing that I had some things on the inside of me that I could no longer cover them up. I could not. It was starting to come out. I was losing sleep. My health was going down. My relationships was going down. I love me, but I wasn't loving me. You know what I'm saying? I had stopped. I was like, girl, what's going on? And so I had to go do some digging and take care of me. And that's where the self-care, and that's what has brought me to where I'm at right now. And that meant for me getting in the face of God, Daddy God, and just laying there and spending some time with him and allowing him to speak to my heart for real. And me grab a hold, because again, I couldn't live here and I couldn't die here. It was the place that I had to get out. I couldn't live or die. I had to get out. So I chose the red pill, let's just say,
there's so many things that you're sharing. And we've got Marisha with us saying, I love me, but wasn't loving me. And Marisha, you're actually hitting on the very thing I wanted to go right back to. So I think it's, there's a difference. There's a difference in knowing your value and knowing that, gosh, you're an awesome person. You're doing good things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you've got value and you're appreciated in certain ways, maybe not
Absolutely.
in all ways. And that can be completely different from then actually doing things to actually love yourself. Like, I feel like that's what you were saying. Is that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was all with one decision. I told you, when I got to California, I went out there specifically to get what I needed to build another business, to support another business. And when I made the decision came down to me. It literally like throat punched me. It said, no, why are you going to take all this divine energy and put it here when you just need to go ahead and put it over here where your heart is, because that's where my treasure is, that's where my heart. And the minute I said, oh my gosh, That's absolutely right. I'm not going to do that. I am not. And I made the decision immediately. Immediately. The heaviness was gone in my chest, all of it. And before I even left, I had two or three people approach me about, including you, interviews and hosting this, and oh my gosh, the things that have come out of it, since I talked to you last. I mean, singing the national anthem, honoring Jimmy Carter coming up. I'm like blown away, right? I mean, it's amazing when we get in position or reposition.
Right.
It's like that conduit. It's like that hose. If it's kinked up, it's jacked up, nothing's gonna get through it. But I'm not trying to preach, but it is good. It is good.
Oh, yeah. So for those just tuning in, yes. So one of the blessings of the very first time I met Tina, I actually got to hear her sing, and she lit up the room. We were so like, honestly,
you.
Tina, just right. Oh, see, and I'm not exaggerating. I am not putting you on. I'm telling you, like, even in this moment, as I'm just recalling the memory, I feel like I can be taken back there again. You're so inspiring, and of course, beautiful voice.
Appreciate
But
that.
just,
Thank you.
it was more than just a voice and just a song.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, so that's congratulations about the
Thank
Jimmy
you.
Carter.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
Mm,
and okay, so what you were all just, all the pieces you just put together for us there, it sounded like it came down to, number one, the awareness of, whoa, what, I've got some choices here. What, and then making a decision about, okay, which choice or path am I going to take? And then just choosing where you're going to place your focus. And you said you really spent time with God. And to me, I hear that also as self-reflection. And is that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it came to the point to whereas I it was like the decision, the choice it was literally given to me. And what I've found out is that I got the title to I think I mentioned the last time, out of that I got the title to the book that I'm writing. And
Right.
and it even went even deeper because I with all of the things, seeing my mom go through the abuse and going through the abuse myself, I can remember days just playing in the woods. Now, I grew up, my mom and dad, we were rich with love and compassion, but we didn't have a lot of the other things. So, I used to play out in the woods a lot. And but I always felt like I was never alone. I promise you, I was just never, ever, ever alone. And I just really feel like those are the things that even back then shaped what's really happening right now in my life. I really do feel like the voices and the things that was deep off on the inside of me. And so now I'm like on this quest of finding the person behind the voice. And I know it's that. I know it's God. You know what I'm saying? I know it's Him. So it has helped me to stay grounded. But I couldn't see any of that stuff, Kim, because I was blinded. I was looking at everybody, everything else, and I wasn't being fair to me. I wasn't being fair to the little girl in order for me, to practice what I preach, because I taught you got to be this complete person, but you can't be complete if you can't face the little girl. And honestly, she kept me safe and sound. She went through it, and I've learned. And I've got to give shout out to Lisa Marie, just in helping me to be able to actually see that, knowing that it was there, but just knowing that it's there and acknowledging it is two different things. And so I had to acknowledge some things. So I went back and got my little girl and said, come on, you don't have to be afraid anymore. We're going to face the future, in the name of Jesus. There's no shame in my game. I just absolutely love it, because without him, I am nothing. I need to put it out there.
I love that you brought up the little girl, or the inner child, right? That's what you're referring to. Yeah. And I also love that you acknowledge that she helped keep you safe. And because I think there can be this tendency to think that, like, oh, that part of us, if we're able to, connect the dots and go, oh, wait a second, I'm still, whatever age I was, maybe when I first was wounded, we may think that something's wrong with us, right? And not realize actually that although it may be time to shift gears and to step into who you actually are today, that other person, that younger person, that little girl, little boy, whoever it may be, actually played a fantastic role in keeping you safe and being able to, help you put on whatever armor you needed to put on.
Oh my gosh.
Until you got to this space of awareness.
It's amazing. It's so amazing because, and please hear my heart. I'm being very, very transparent right now. My little girl, she was about 3 or 4 years old. Where I grew up, it was rough. It was rough. There was a lot of violence, and it could break out at any time. And I can remember being put underneath a bed, but there were guns underneath of the bed for protection. And it was like the fear was so massive till I left her there. And as an adult, I had to go back and get her. But then as I got older, there was still something that was missing. There was still some fogginess about some areas that I may have missed growing up that I had to have. So then I kept remembering, I'm like, wow, there she is, my adolescent. There she is, standing in the window, looking outside, because that's where I left her. And Kim, can I tell you, when I left her, she was this little broken down African-American girl who wanted to go with the little Caucasian girls who had a better house, a better this, and a better that. Can I just be straight up transparent and honest with you? You know what I'm saying? And that put me in a place of wanting and desiring some things that not necessarily were bad or it was bad to do that, but it also helped me to see that something was wrong. Why? What was the reason? Why couldn't I have that? And I started associating it with things that wasn't the truth, like my hair or the color of my skin or all of those things. So I that's my message, and that's what Warrior Woman is all about. It's man in the mirror. If we just focus on this person here as I hold the mirror up, then I'm fully persuaded the world will have a better world. I just believe that with every fiber of my being.
Tina, I love your transparency, and I know there are many other people. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional just because
it's so good.
If you're watching or if you're listening, right? So this is also going to be replaying, and you can relate to this. Please do share with us what you are taking away or how you connect to this, and how Tina's message may be resonating with you today. But I want to say that I know certainly there are people who can relate with the specifics of your story, of what you just shared about your little girl. And there are also people who may be able to relate, not with the specifics of that story, but just being able to identify, knowing that there was a time in their life where they thought that who they were something was wrong with that in some form, and somehow thinking they needed to change themselves and become someone else. The grass was greener in being someone else.
Oh my
And
God.
and so tell me, because you talk about truth, and I love that. So what is your truth? What is the truth about just what is the truth?
Gosh. My own truth is knowing that I have someone living on the inside of me who is bigger than me. My truth is centered all around Jesus Christ. I that's that's it in a nutshell. He is my truth. And when I find myself over the past few months, I thought I was lost, Kim. He has taught me that you weren't lost. I've had you hidden
Ooh.
for such a time as this. And that searching, that quest for the person behind the voice that has been speaking to me this whole time, has been speaking the truth, who has literally showed me how to be in tune with my spirit and to trust my recreated spirit, because that's where I'm at. I wasn't trusting me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can honor you, because you've given way. You like Lisa Marie in California, you gave your platform, for me. And so I find value in that. I find truth in that, because I honor you and I celebrate you. So it's like a win-win for me. But it's all about Jesus. It's all about the flow. It's all about, and I'm not trying to be woo-woo or anything like that, but you ask it, and that's that's it in a nutshell. And how I'm made in his image, and he fulfills everything for me. And he's revealing that to me.
I want to say thank you for that. And I'll just always acknowledge that no one can ever be too woo woo for me. I run the gamut of it from all of it. So, so no, you're totally safe here sharing that with me. And I know that my audience also appreciates that.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so Tina, here you are today. You are this warrior woman. What is your phrase again? I love the phrases that you put together.
Warrior woman, awaken the warrior, embracing the queen, and you can do that at the same time. But PMS, perspective, mindset, and stability. We've got to build a firm foundation. And when I say that, please hear my heart. I love women empowerment. I love building women and things like that. But sometimes it has to be more than that. It has to be more than just the conference type mentality of this, let's get this thing kind of done. I believe in building foundation, and building, because we have people behind us that's looking toward us, and we're leading, and so that's me. I know I have to be careful, because I can go on and on. So I'm just
I know, I love it. Okay, so foundation. I mean, you've already shared a whole piece about God and going inward. That I know that does a great job of helping someone to build their inner foundation. But I love what you were starting to hit on there about people behind us. Would you just talk about that? What is that about?
Well, that is about. There you go. I I'm just a firm believer that, especially now, we hear a lot of what's wrong, what's going wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. And I just tend to believe now it's more about what's missing, what
Ooh.
we're not doing for whatever reason. You might not have the right education to be able to get it, the finances to be able to get it, the facilities, whatever. And so I'm, I love being able to pull and to tap into other people's potential. I love hosting. I love singing. It's my passion. It's all in there. But I'm telling you, to be able to tap into the giftings and to help people see what is on the inside of them, it just makes my world. I'm like, oh my gosh. No, I feel like I'm on assignment. I really, really, truly, truly do. Hence, I am Tina V, because I was in the process of rebranding. So out of that has come I am Tina V, and along with that is the whole studio and VTV,
Oh,
Hungry for Hugs, all of
nice.
all of it, the radio, all of it has come out of that. So I'm just so super. I saw that, Drew. Thumbs up. I
So,
just absolutely love it. So
Tina, what I want to just sort of paraphrase for anyone who is tuning in and listening to you speak, what I'm also just really hearing is when we talk about the people behind you, is you're talking about giving back. You're talking about
yes,
giving back and lending a hand, and through your story, being able to help bring up the next group of people who have been
yes,
struggling, whether it be with something similar or something that just connects you to them. And
yes,
in their moment, you're now going to be able to help empower, uplift, inspire, support,
absolutely.
guide, lead, all of that for them.
Absolutely, Kim, absolutely. And we're going to have so much fun doing it.
And doesn't that almost make, I'm starting to rethink what I'm about to say, but doesn't that almost make everything that you went through be so much more even worth it? Not that you went through what you went through necessarily for someone else. You went through it for your own learning and your own growth and all of that. And yet at the same time, wow, you actually can give back in that way
Yes,
now.
absolutely, absolutely. And so much more, because I can keep and help people not even get into that situation. You know what I'm saying? Kind of
Yeah.
some preventive kind of stuff, things happening. But absolutely, it's all for the people. And that's why I know that there is an abundance of wealth. I just believe it. That's being shifted, because I'm just going to give it away. I'm just going to give it away. I already know it. There are people who have ideas. They're entrepreneurs, and all they need is somebody to believe in them. And just, without all the T's, the dots, the this, all that'll come. It will. But to be able to say, hey, here is some funds to be able to do this, and this, because I believe in you. I mean, that's how Project Infusion actually came out, was because of, and that was the youth program that I had, the 501, the 3C, was based on the youth saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, we can do this. So let's go find experts in what you want to do and reach out to them. And so before you knew it, the program was an after school. It was approved for after school curriculum, where it was youth run. They were doing their own events. They were killing it, Tim. I'm telling you, they did. And so I just believe if you just give it to them. I mean, that's how I fed over 100 and some kids a day in high school when I taught business. You just got to get in there and partner with them. You really do. So
Wow. Well, so Tina, so here's what I'm noticing. When these conversations are so good, I just don't want to stop. I've been trying to keep these conversations shorter and I've already surpassed my mark. But
Well, you know I can talk too, so my badness.
no, you're good. You're good because you are a really good speaker, Tina. And
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank
I,
you.
I mean that. No, absolutely. Yes. So, I would like to ask you at this point, are there any tips for someone who maybe is in that space where maybe they are, well, let's just say, I guess, someone who's found themselves in a domestic violence situation and they're in that space of, do I get out? Do I stay? What's my next step?
Probably the first thing, if they've gotten to the point to where they're asking, should I go? Should I stay? They definitely should go. It's better just to go and not even find out. And then if there's some wiggle room and some work room, then you give yourself time to do that. That's what I didn't do. I didn't give myself time to even process the fact that I'm being hit or I'm being verbally abused or whatever. So just know yourself enough. And in order to do that, you got to spend time with yourself. And that's key. You've got to give yourself, especially us as women, we've got to give ourselves permission to go in the bathroom, to sit down and just say, you know what's going on? Look in the mirror and say, is this really what you want? And be honest with yourself. If it even if you don't know how you're going to get out, just be honest with yourself, and it'll work. You got to give God something to work with. You just do. So that, just take the opportunity and take the time. And even if there's people that's watching who might know somebody, even if they're not in the situation, tell somebody, go ask yourself, because that's who you're in this with. I know we've got friends and support and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it was the conversation that I had with myself, Kim, to get out of that situation and to get out of those situations, because I got out of one into the other.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Tina, I want to ask you, what's next for you? I know you already mentioned the Jimmy Carter thing. Is that something we would be able to see?
Yes, you will. You will. I did. Well, I love production. So, I'm literally in the process now because I believe in women. I'm not, you heard me. I'm not too down with the whole women's lib kind of, we can do everything, because I don't believe that we can, but don't hold that against me. I don't need any letters, emails, or anything. I'm just being straight from the heart. But I do believe that there's a lot of things that we can do, and we have big, huge voices. So that's what I'm about, and helping and to be able to speak again, to be able to prevent some things, because I don't believe that every woman has to go through what I went through to get to where I'm at. I just don't believe that. So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love what you're saying there. And what I hear you saying is that you believe in, empowerment and a strong, powerful woman, but also a form of collaboration, knowing that you're not doing this alone and you don't have to do it alone.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's the mixture of the warrior and the queen, because, sometimes you got to get out there and fight. And sometimes you need to just sit back and you want your feet to be bathed, but, you can do both of them. So in moving forward, especially us as women, you got to take care of yourself.
And what about a support system? Did that play? You had God, but in what ways did you connect or start to attract or build a form of support system?
Well, that was kind of tricky for me because, in doing, for me going through the abuse, I had walls just up, which would cause me to look like I was very rigid or very, but I wasn't. And the people used to tell me, "You're friendly. You're not warm and fuzzy, but you're friendly." And that was kind of some of the things that that I had to look at as far as wanting to be who I truly am on the inside. So, you know.
So you're saying that the walls may have prevented you from at first building your support system or connecting with them?
Yeah. It really did. There in the beginning, it was like it was kind of there. I didn't really allow it to be because I kept people away, kind of a pretense kind of a thing. But then God just started surrounding me, but it wasn't until I was true to myself that I could seriously speak about different things and see that I wasn't alone, for one thing, and that women were listening. So, but I have an amazing support team. I mean, you're my support girl. I'm so serious.
I totally support you, Tina. I'm not even ready to finish this. Can we make this a marathon?
Oh my gosh, that time went by. Oh, I love it.
It really did. No, you are phenomenal at sharing this message. So I just want to, I'm just going to keep driving it home. I want you to take that in because I know that people need to hear what you have to say. And so thank you for being here today and sharing it with me, sharing it with my audience, sharing it with your audience, sharing it with the audience we don't even know that's going to be tuning in at this point.
Maybe we can do a part 2 or at some point. I love chatting with you. I could do this all the time. So serious.
Awesome. Well, so, we've talked about the struggles and the challenges, knowing that there's growth and awesomeness that gets birthed out of that. So as we start to really wrap this up, the show is about, then getting to that positive outlook. When you think about a positive outlook in terms of your story and where your journey has led you to today, what comes up for you? What is the positive outlook?
The positive outlook for me is, it's kind of like the movie, The Field of Dreams.
Ooh.
Build it and they will come. And I just know that all the love and everything that's needed from A to Z, if we just put it out there, they'll come. I just believe that with all my heart. We just need people like you and I and the lovely people that's watching to just say, hey, I'll do it. And because that's all he needs. That's all God needs is for us to continue to do what you're doing, is putting it out there and giving us an avenue to be able to share this stuff. So I honor you. I do. I thank you and celebrate you for having me from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I had something I wanted to say and I sort of lost it, but yes, if you are watching or listening, please do share this out with those in your life who may benefit, may be at a crossroads or struggling with something similar, and know that it's a form of shining a light on there's hope and things can be different so just wanted to encourage you to do that. And I do also want to just go back to a comment that someone had shared earlier. I didn't voice it for those listening on iTunes. We've got M. Williams who said, those resilient little girls. I think that is such
I saw that. I was like, yes.
Right. And that is just such a fantastic comment because
yes.
I think that's the key to know that wherever your journey may take you back to, know that he or she is not broken. He or she is not lost.
That's right.
He or she is not forgotten.
Yes. That's a good one. Not forgotten. Yes.
He or she is resilient.
Yes.
And who you are today actually can be there, to support that.
That's right. That's the truth. That's the truth.
And
That's
there's
good.
healing, and things can shift. And so anyway,
Yes.
Tina, where can people connect with you if they'd like to, work with you and find out more about your program?
I am really quick. The Warrior Woman program, I'm going through rebranding and everything. So it's under construction, but it's IamTinaV.com. That is that's my website. That's the new website coming soon. But you can probably, the best thing right now, Kim, is to reach out to me via social media, and you can inbox me and all that good stuff, and watch me build. Actually, I would love it, and give comments and everything on what this huge thing is. So it's really big. So.
And I think we may have gotten distracted. When is the Jimmy Carter thing, and how can we watch that?
Yeah. That is June 6th. It's going to be at the Hilton. Well, no, not the Hilton. That's another one. It's going to be in Arlington. It's the Army Navy Gala honoring former President Jimmy Carter, and we're just so excited that his health and everything will pan out, that he'll be able to be there. And I'm just so excited and honored to do the national anthem. And then after that, pushing forward, I was just approved and asked to do the Warrior Woman workshop for its Sisters United. It's a national group of women, and they're doing a 3-day summit. And so they just brought me on to do some keynote speaking, some singing. So I get to do some Aretha and some Adele, and we're just gonna talk a little bit more about the man in the mirror. And so I'm just excited, but I'll put it out there on social media for those who are following me. You can like me at I am Tina V on Facebook. So we're getting there.
Whew, that is exciting. That is inspiring. And Tina, I am so glad that you have reached your truth of knowing that you, just as you are beautiful and amazing, and nothing needs to change.
Thank you.
And your story and your courage and your strength is so powerful and amazing. So keep being you, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And before we go, I just have to give a lovely shout out to my kids who have been my pillar of strength, all 6 of them. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon.
That is wonderful.
Thanks, Kim. Have a wonderful evening.
That is our show. So thank you for being here, everybody. Bye for now.
Love you guys.
Thank you for listening today. If you found value in this episode, be sure to rate and review it on iTunes and subscribe so you can continue to be inspired and feel supported on your journey forward. Remember that every day truly is a new day. The more you practice saying yes to yourself, being open to your life's gifts through your lived experiences, the more you find yourself in the rhythm and flow of life. And that's just the beginning of how much more beauty is ready to unfold for you. Subscribe to the Every Day is a New Day show on iTunes and connect with me after the show over on Facebook on the Every Day is a New Day show and coaching page, where I also go live with many of my guests on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or follow the show on Instagram at Every Day is a New Day show. Let me know what you're taking away from today. I'd love to know. I'm your host, Kim O'Neill, and I look forward to connecting with you next time.